Okay, and usually they have a maturity date of a year or less. So I think maybe some people might remember when we were younger, we used to get bonds, and those were long-term government securities of like 25 or 30 years. And so T-bills are the short-term government backed bonds, and the government puts out on like a 3-time weekly basis how much they're looking to raise. And when they're looking to raise the money, it is to fund various public projects, highways, schools, things like that. So basically, when you purchase a T-bill, you're getting an IOU from the government. And T-bills are considered safe, except in the case of when the government would default. So, within the past month, you might have wanted to wait to buy a couple of T-bills because everybody was a little bit concerned about default, but that is no longer an issue since it's settled. The longer the maturity date, the higher interest rate the T-bill will pay. So T-bills usually come out in increments of like a 4-week T-bill, 8-week, 13-week, 7-week, 26-week, and 52-week. So a 52-week T-bill will pay more than a 4-week T-bill. Okay, Erin, we can go to the next slide or the next page. Okay, so the things you want to know about T-bills going into it is that there's pretty much a very minimal, I wouldn't say no, but it's a minimal credit risk because they are U.S. government backed. Again, it gives the disclaimer that assumes that the U.S. government doesn't go bankrupt. And the way that they are sold is in auctions. So the government says they want to raise so much money, and then they put out these T-bill auctions. So when you actually see if you're buying them directly, you will see a purchase price, a target price, and that's what they think that they're going to auction off for. But the interest rate may vary slightly. And what happens with the T-bill is they're sold at a discount to par, which means that if you want $1,000, if you want to invest $1,000, actually what happens is you put in less than that. You put in $950, and the $50 interest is earned, and at the end of it, you come out with $1,000. So basically, they're sold at a discount. So when you buy them, again, if you're thinking you want to invest $1,000, you're not actually investing $1,000. You're only investing a discounted par value on that. And if anybody has any questions at any time, they can raise their hand, ask a question. So again, when you place your purchase order for the T-bills at auction, you don't exactly know how much you'll be paying or how much interest you'll be earning. But again, they have a target number, so it usually comes in pretty close to there. And this is for individuals who purchase, and that is a non-competitive bid. So basically, they're put out in the package. It's the banks and institutions that are actually bidding that set the price on the T-bills. And so the T-bill is interest only paid at maturity. So if you buy a 4-week T-bill, every week you're not going to be getting interest. That interest will compound over the 4 weeks, and will again bring you to the par value at the end of the 4 weeks, or however many weeks you're purchasing. T-bill interest is subject to federal income tax, but no state or local taxes. So in a state like New York, this is really important because we obviously, the state tax rate, I forget what it is, but I want to say it's like 7 or 8% maybe. So that's good. Also, somewheres where you might want to purchase a T-bill is in a Roth IRA. Because you'll incur no taxes on your gain there. So and for retirement planning, T-bills are sort of a good strategy. And okay, Erin, let's go to the next slide. T-bills have high purchase limits. So the minimum purchase on a T-bill is $100. But they go up to very high limits. Like you could purchase $100,000 in T-bills and or more. And they are liquid. There is a secondary market for T-bills, but most of the time when you're buying them, you're just going in there into the online site directly and purchasing them. So okay, Erin, go ahead. Okay. So when we start to talk about why would I invest in T-bills, or what money would I use to invest in T-bills, one of the important things in investing that I've learned over the years is that the speed of money is important. That being that you don't want to have money just laying around, not earning interest or somehow working for you. And the faster you can take money and recirculate it back into investments, the more compounding you'll get, and the quicker you'll be able to earn more money on it. So when we think about, well, okay, I have money in my business reserves. And so that's a perfect little chunk of money to use for T-bill investing. Same with personal reserves. You might want to take your personal reserves and put them into T-bills versus either a CD or a high interest savings account. The high interest savings accounts now are paying around, I think American Express is paying around 4%. Marcus from Goldman Sachs is paying about 4.15. So right now you'll see today when we start talking about what the T-bills are paying, they're actually paying higher than that. And so because it is liquid within 4 weeks, you're really not tying the money up. And it's certainly better than being in a CD, which you have to usually tie up for at least a year, if not more. Also, another great source to put into T-bills is, if in your business you've been sort of putting money aside for that, what we call a war chest, right? Which would be you want to do something in your business, but you're not ready to do it today, but you're accumulating the capital to do it. That is another great place to source capital for T-bills. Or you have an investment in real estate or some other type of investment, and you sell the real estate, you pull the money out. Great to put money into T-bills for a short period of time until you find the next investment. And the way that you structure the T-bills and what we're going to call a T-bill ladder is in thinking about how often you are going to need the capital that's circulating through your T-bill ladder. So you can set it up to access it every 4 weeks, every 8 weeks, 26 weeks. But again, you'll get the higher yield, but it'll be a longer wait time that your capital is tied up. And one of the nice things about the T-bill system within treasurydirect.com, which we'll talk about in a minute, is that if you have a 4-week T-bill and it comes due at the end of the 4 weeks and you don't need that capital, you can set it up to auto invest. So it's sort of, you can make it a set it and forget it. And then, when you need the money, go back in there and start looking at what funds you have available coming up and make any adjustments. So it's pretty easy to maneuver the capital in and out. And I guess you also want to consider what your financial situation is at any given time, right? And when you're investing in the T-bills, can you afford to hold them 4 weeks versus 26 weeks? So, when do you need access to the capital? Okay, Erin. So these were some results in May. And I will tell you that they've gone down a little bit. So this was in the weeks leading up to the possible default of the government. So the government was having a little trouble selling off their T-bills, so they went a little bit high. Generally now, you can see the 4-week T-bill starting right around 5% interest, and a 26-week this week was about 5.15%. So there's a little bit of a spread in there that you'll see based on the number of weeks. And again, you can get, the longer you go, the higher the interest rate. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, let's go to the next slide, Erin. So when we talk about a T-bill ladder, what we are talking about is how to stack up the T-bill investments so that basically every 4 weeks you would, or 6 weeks, you would have cash flow coming out of your investments. So here, the way that you would do it is, the first week you would buy, a 26-week T-bill. Then you would stack on top of that a 17-week T-bill, 13-week, 8-week, 4-week. And you'll see that as they start coming due, you'll have money flowing through every week. And, again, I'm not quite sure why this is showing those percentages the opposite, but I think that somebody made a mistake when they made this, which I am R&Ding this from somebody else who made this slide presentation. So it looks a little bit off though on those percentages. Okay, Erin, let's go to the next slide. So here's a 13-week T-bill. And so this one, actually, you would start the opposite way, and you would first put in a 4-week, and then you would put in an 8-week, and then a 13-week, and then 3 13 weeks, and that's gonna build you out a ladder that has cash flow coming out of it every 4 weeks. So this is the website that you go to, treasurydirect.gov. And it's a pretty easy site. You have to set up your login. You can do T-bills in your personal name. You can do them in your personal name and have the interest that comes from them go into a different account. Like maybe you have an account for your kids or your grandkids, and you can set it up that way. You can also set it up for LLCs. So if you have an LLC for your business and you want to put your reserves into it, you can set up the LLC right here in Treasury Direct and use that bank account, so it will flow through. And when you use the website, you will go under the tab here on the top that says Treasury Marketable Securities, and it will take you to the T-bills. And I think that maybe the next slide, Erin, has what that looks like. Yeah. So this takes you to your account, and you can, again, right on here, it says on the top, buy direct. That is where you would go. And again, you can do this with as little as $100 and go in here and start buying some T-bills if you don't want your money just sitting around making nothing. Okay, yeah, and so when they show you the marketable securities that the government has, they will show you the short term, which are the T-bills. a year or less. And then they have notes, which are that's more like a CD, where it's 2 to 10 years, where you're tying up the money. And then, of course, the bonds, they still do have those, which are the longer term, of over 10 years. And the last two people are not really using. It's more for like bigger type corporate entities. And then there was something about the Series I bonds that I wanted to say, and now I forget. I forget what it is, but I'll remember it at some point and be able to tell you.
We do have a question.
Sure.
So do you know, can you roll money from like a mature savings bond into like a T-bill investment without having to incur the gain on that and pay that, and thereby eliminating those taxes?
I don't think you could do that unless it was inside of a Roth IRA.
Thank you.
Oh, and again, I forgot to give my disclaimer when I started this. And that no one should take this, that I am your financial advisor. This is advice that I've gotten from doing it, and from doing investments. That's what our wealth building always is. But I am by no means a licensed financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. And anything I say should be checked with your financial advisor. KW tells me I have to say that.
But Rosemarie's my financial advisor. Ro, do you have any knowledge or experience? Is there a difference, in your opinion, or a benefit to investing in the I bond versus T-bills?
There is, and that is what I can't remember. I have it written somewhere in my notes, but I'm gonna have to go back through that, and I'll have to, I will get back to you and let you know what that is.
Because I have money in an I bond, and so is it that I should now do the T-bill ladder? Do I take the money from the I bond and move it into the T-bills?
Well, when you bought the I bond, that was a bond of over 10 years, right?
I thought it was only a year. That's what I don't know.
Okay.
I'm looking in my account. I can't really tell.
Okay, yeah, I have to look up about that.
I didn't know if you could roll in to something.
There was a benefit somewheres to the I bonds. I'm not that familiar with those. So, but when I find it, I'll let you know. I know
Right.
where in my notes I have it. Okay, Erin, we can go on to the next one. So when you go into that buy direct, it'll show you the T-bills that are for sale and when the auction date is. Okay, so again, you can use that, if you're buying, a 4-week and an 8-week today, and then, the next week if you do the stagger with the 13-week, you'll wait, 4 weeks, and then you'll start staggering up the 13-week T-bills on top. So that's a good way to do it. And see on the bottom here, it says payment destination. And so that is where you actually put in the account that you want the final payment to go to. And that, again, that will be if the purchase amount that you can purchase the bond from one account, and you can have it designated to go to a different account. So if you want to gift, a bond to somebody, you can do that. And then you can, in the middle here, you see this is where you schedule the reinvestment. Okay, so it asks you, how many times, up to 2 years, you can reschedule that investment if you want it. Okay. So here are the websites and the treasurydirect.gov. And then the auction results after they do it, they do publish them, the government,
On the website, and
and that's where you can get those. And if you're looking for the auction dates, it says it right on the treasurydirect.gov site when you go into the buy direct, but you can also go to the direct link. And then this diamond nest egg is someone who has I believe it's an Instagram site. I haven't gone on it yet. As I said, somebody else did this this little PowerPoint, but I've heard it's a great site, so you might want to check that out for some advice. Is that the end of the slides? Okay. Any
Yes.
other questions about the T-bills?
I'll just say, I did look at the Treasury Direct site. Diamond Nest Egg, by the way, she has a Facebook page and an Instagram. So you invest in a series I bond and you cannot cash it before 12 months. And you can leave it in there collecting interest for up to 30 years.
Okay, so those are more like the bonds that we
Yeah.
knew when we were kids, like, right? You know, people
Yeah.
get you bonds.
Why doesn't anybody get them anymore? Like, I know when.
They're doing it all electronically now.
Oh, so only the people, once they buy them. on home.
Right.
Okay.
What do you think, Brian?
What did he say? Wise guy?
I want to know what they did wrong to be stuck in this room.
Something is wrong?
No, Brian's just being Brian. We just ignore him and let him walk out of the room.
Okay. Anybody else with any questions?
Not a question, but honestly, this is not something that I was familiar with. So I appreciate the information because I think that this is a great tool that I personally wasn't familiar with.
Yeah, and anybody can do it with any, you know, really any increment of $100. So I think it's a really good saving thing, especially for kids, right? You know, teach them how to save and how to make some compounding on their money.
Since you want to be my financial advisor, do you recommend a financial advisor?
No,
Did you hear Eileen? No? Okay.
No, you don't have one that you recommend?
no.
Anybody else?
So Rosemarie, I don't know if this is a stupid question, the T-bill ladder. So are you buying each of those T-bills at the same time, or are you when the 4-week T-bill matures, then you buy the next one?
So initially you'll buy like a 4-week, an 8-week, and a 13-week. And
Uh-huh.
then you wait a period of time to buy the next 13. If you're doing a 13-week one,
Okay, so that's what those brackets were. You're buying those 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're just figuring out how they're going to roll out, right? And so that's what creates the cash flow is when they mature.
And always have one that's.
We always have
Yes,
something.
you always have one coming to maturity, essentially.
Right. Every 30
And
days. So
Every
if you-
4 weeks, yeah.
So if for some reason you needed the money, you would have that available.
And
Okay.
you're only buying it at auction, or you just go on, it's like I'm confused with the auction.
Well, the way that
That's how
they
they sell
sold
them.
are at auction, but basically the auction, the banks are at the auction. So you're buying them direct through the site, and that's sort of after they have the auction. That's when they set the price based on what the market would pay for them.
And then they go out and buy it, something like that.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. All right. If nobody has anything else, I thank you all. And
Thank you.
have a great day.
Have a great day.